This is number seven podcast.
Number 7 podcast.
Welcome back to the Number 7 podcast channel, everyone. Today we're diving into a story set in the North Carolina marshes. It's about survival, mystery, and a young girl named Kaya who finds herself alone at just 6 years old.
Wow, 6 years old. That's incredibly young to be on your own.
It is, and the story really digs into how the marsh itself becomes a character, shaping Kaya's entire life. Abandoned by her family, she has to learn to survive in this harsh but beautiful environment.
Right, relying on the marsh for food and shelter. It's fascinating how the author portrays that relationship.
Definitely. And we see her siblings, Missy, Murph, Mandy, and Jody leave one by one. It leaves Kaya completely isolated. Well, almost completely. She does have Jumpin' and Mabel at Jumpin's Gas and Bake.
Oh, that's true. They provide a sense of community for her, a sense of belonging that she doesn't really get anywhere else.
Exactly. And it's interesting because they're black, which highlights the racial dynamics of the 1950s South. Kaya, labeled as Marsh Girl, is ostracized by both the white and black communities.
It's heartbreaking to see how prejudice shapes her life from such a young age.
Yeah, it really is. But then there's Tate Walker. He's a local boy who befriends Kaya and teaches her to read.
Tate's a pivotal character. He opens up a whole new world for Kaya, sharing her love for the marsh and encouraging her curiosity about nature.
And their bond deepens into a romance. But it's fragile. You can sense Kaya's fear of abandonment.
Absolutely. And then we have Chase Andrews, the charming football star. He's everything Tate isn't.
Right. He's outgoing, confident, from a completely different world.
Chase represents the allure of that outside world, something Kaya's always been wary of.
And his promises of marriage and a life beyond the marsh, well, they awaken a longing in Kaya, but ultimately lead to betrayal.
A betrayal that just reinforces her distrust of people.
Pushing her even further into the embrace of the marsh, her sanctuary. And it's around this time she starts sending her incredibly detailed drawings of shells to a publisher.
It's like she's trying to connect with the wider world, but on her own terms, through her art.
I see that. And then the story takes a dark turn. Chase Andrews' body is found at the base of the fire tower.
And immediately suspicion falls on Kaya.
Of course, she's the Marsh Girl, capable of anything in their eyes.
It's a stark reminder of the prejudice against her.
The evidence against her is compelling, although it is circumstantial. The missing shell necklace, the arguments, those red wool fibers, maybe from her hat, found on his jacket.
It all builds a case, but is it enough for a conviction?
Well, the trial is as much about Kaya as it is about the community's prejudices. We see characters like Mrs. Culpepper trying to help Kaya.
And others like Mrs. White, who embody the judgment she faces.
The trial brings a string of testimonies, some truthful, others not. We hear from Rodney and Denny, who claim to have seen Kaya and Chase arguing.
Then there's the bus driver and the motel clerk, placing Kaya in Greenville the night of the murder.
And even Scupper, Tate's father, recalls seeing her boat going towards the fire tower.
It's a tangled web of perceptions and half-truths.
And in all of this, Cake becomes crucial. He's now a marine biologist and uses his knowledge to challenge the prosecution.
His testimony about the fluctuating water levels, explaining the lack of footprints, is so important.
And then the verdict. Not guilty. But it's bittersweet, isn't it?
She's free, but deeply scarred by the betrayal and the judgment.
It really makes you think about isolation and connection. She yearns for acceptance, but she's been betrayed by those closest to her.
It makes you wonder, how can someone who's faced so much ever truly trust again? Kaya really retreats further into the march after the trial. It's like she's seeking solace in nature, trying to find some peace.
Even though she's been found innocent, it's like the whole ordeal pushes her deeper into isolation. But there's a turning point when her brother Jody comes back.
Ah, Jody. He brings with him a collection of paintings done by their mother. You know, the woman Kaya barely remembers.
It's a huge moment for Kaya. It allows her to confront her past, to understand her family history.
Maybe even begin to forgive.
Yeah, maybe. The paintings give us a glimpse into her mother's life, her struggles, and her love for her children. It's a powerful connection between the past and present. And through it all, Tate's still there.
His love and patience are amazing. He never gives up on her, even when she pushes him away.
He understands her need for space, for time to heal.
He symbolizes that possibility of love and trust, even after such deep betrayal.
Their reunion is beautiful. You can see their shared understanding, their deep connection to nature.
They find joy in the simple things, their passions, the tranquility of the marsh. It's a testament to the healing power of love and nature.
Kaya finds a way to open her heart again, to experience love and purpose even after everything she's been through. And her success as an author, it's incredible.
She channels her passion for the marsh into her writing. It's remarkable.
Her books about shells, birds, mushrooms, they become so popular.
She gains recognition while staying connected to the place she loves.
But the marsh is such a complex symbol. On one hand, it's a source of beauty and healing for Kaya. But on the other?
It's wild, untamed. It holds secrets.
And that duality is reflected in Kaya herself.
There's a depth to her character that goes way beyond that marsh girl label.
She's resilient, strong, a keen observer, a talented artist.
But the trauma, the betrayal, it leaves its mark.
It shapes her choices, her actions. And then there's the ending. After Kaya's peaceful death, Tate finds a hidden compartment in their shack.
Inside, poems written under the name Amanda Hamilton.
More than just poems, they reveal a darker side to Kaya, a side capable of intense passion, even rage.
And a shell necklace, identical to the one missing from Chase's body.
It makes you question everything you thought you knew about Kaya.
Did she use her knowledge of the marsh to orchestrate his death?
The author leaves that question unanswered.
We're left grappling with the moral ambiguities. Was she a victim driven to desperate measures? Or was she a manipulator?
It's an ending that stays with you, forcing you to confront your own ideas about justice and revenge.
Can we condemn someone who's endured so much? Or do we try to understand?
Where the Crawdads sing. It's such a powerful book. It doesn't offer simple solutions.
It invites us to look at the gray areas of human experience, to grapple with trauma, prejudice, and the choices we make when we're pushed to our limits.
It makes you think about those long-term impacts, childhood trauma, and how society treats people, how those things can just impact a person's whole life, their choices, how they see the world.
Yeah, it's a reminder that we shouldn't judge a book by its cover, or a person by their situation. Kaya's story, it challenges us to look deeper, to try to understand what makes each person unique.
And it highlights the importance of empathy, seeing the world through someone else's eyes, especially people who've been pushed aside, misunderstood.
It's a call for compassion, right?
Yeah.
A deeper understanding of why people do the things they do, and realizing that we're all connected.
The book also makes you think about nature. The marsh isn't just a background. It shapes Kaya's whole life.
It offers her comfort, but also pushes her to learn and grow.
It reminds us about the power of nature, how it can heal us, even when we're facing tough times.
And maybe Kaya's story also makes us ask, what is justice? What is morality? Can we really blame someone who's gone through so much pain?
Or should we try to understand what might have led them to those tough choices?
Those are hard questions, no easy answers.
And that's what makes this book so good, so thought-provoking. It leaves you wondering, wanting to explore those complexities.
It makes you appreciate the power of nature, how it can heal, how it can challenge us.
It's a story that stays with you. It makes you think, makes you talk about it, helps you understand the world a little better.
And if you're looking for more stories like this, well, let us know what books you'd like us to dive into next. Leave a comment below. And as always, thank you for listening to the Number 7 podcast.